The Kate Daly Show.
All right. Welcome back. You're listening to The Kate Daly Show. All right. I will take your calls 888-673-1450. And I do want to hear from you because I need your input. What would you tell a 25-year-old? What would you tell them to do right now to get ready for a downed economy if that happens? To prepare for more violence in America, to prepare for some of these things. And this isn't to gaslight anybody. This is to actually strategize in every case scenario. I always think that the best thing we can do to actually get some peace and maybe a little hope and maybe a little control over the situation is to have control and to know what you're going to do in each case scenario, right? And set forth some plans right now while you can. I think it's smart. Hi, caller. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Yeah, hi, Kate.
Hi.
So I just had 3 quick points.
Sure.
The first point is, as long as you have, my uncle used to say to me, I come from a time when ships were made of wood and men were made of iron.
Love it. Yeah.
And so you have to have that viewpoint that you will hold on to your integrity.
Yes.
And no matter how hard it gets, you'll push through it.
I love that. Yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's Dana from Boston. And the second thing is you want to have a can-do attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to surround yourself with people with a can-do attitude.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And you will find that 9 out of 10 people will always tell you what can't be done. So you want to find people that will work with you, that have a belief that whatever it is you set out to accomplish can be done.
Okay, love it.
And the last thing is that there's a military saying that says even a poor plan boldly executed can bring good results.
Okay. Yeah.
And so and people will get hung up trying to plan and figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point you just need to go.
Yeah. I get that. I just think that for the longest time, I don't know if anyone's made any plans. That worries me a little bit, because there are things that you can do in the future. I think if I could go back in 2019 before all the 2020 mess, I would say sit down with your kids, have some directives on your health, understand what you can do legally, have some things set up. I wish we could go back in a time machine and do that. But maybe going forward, since we know this is their MO with health, that people actually do that. They actually sit down with their kids or a trusted somebody and say, this is what I want for myself if I'm ever in the situation that I can't get out of. Right? Those kinds of things?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm just, those are the points about the attitude you'll have no matter how difficult things get to push through.
So true. So true.
And we are definitely walking into some very difficult times.
I agree. Thank you so much. Yes, we need that character. We need to understand. And I think that comes from faith. I think faith kind of gives you that. It gives you the ability to withstand because you know where you're going, right? And you know who you're trying to please in your life, and that God is there. So I think that is a really great thing that we can do right now to shore ourselves up, to be able to act with character. Also, because I think mental health is going to be coming down the pike in a couple of ways. They've been setting down the train tracks, especially King Dingling has been. He and Kamala have been setting the train tracks down for centers for mental health to broaden, and that's their word, broaden what mental health is and isn't. We should have directives. We should talk to our kids. I also would go as far as to say, and I know this is going to sound a little cringy, but I would actually go as far as to say, have code words with your kids so that they know what's going on with you if you were in a situation where you were not allowed to talk openly with them, that they would know what was happening to you. I really believe that needs to happen, because I think that mental health will be broadened to the point of political ideology. And I think people could be put in places against their will. And you have to be able to converse with your family. And if you're able to do that, you should be able to have a way to communicate. I don't know how many people are going to agree with me on that, but I actually think people should do that. I really do. Now. Hi, caller. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
So, yeah, I think probably good wisdom is if you're in debt, get out of debt. If you're out of debt, don't get in debt. And it's a good idea to have a little extra cash and gold and silver. If you can't afford gold, get some silver. It's a lot cheaper, but it still holds its value. Gold, silver, cash, no debt.
Excellent. Excellent advice. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. A big one in Richard Day's comments from 1969 was also food and what was going to happen. By the way, he did nail a lot of stuff. He said people will die from heart attacks that are manipulated, right? And that sports will replace family time. He talked about homosexuality being completely accepted in society, how that would be a huge downturn for society. All kinds of things like this. The elimination of private doctors, that the image of the doctor would change. No longer would he be seen as an individual professional in service to individual patients, but the doctor would gradually be recognized as a highly skilled technician, and his job would change. The job was to include things like executions by lethal injection. The image of a doctor being powerful, independent person would change, and that they wouldn't make the money that they're making, and that group practice would be encouraged, corporations would be encouraged, and that the corporate image of medical care, you'd have a lot more groups. A few diehard doctors might try to make a go of it, remaining solo in practice, trying to remain independent anyway. And they would suffer great loss of income. They'd be able to scrape by, but it would be very difficult. So we would see it as more of a centralized medicine, and that also that they would start taking away Medicare from people, that they would not be able to get the care they think they're going to get on the system, and that they would have new rules coming out continuously where everything was just so pared down that it was, why am I even doing this? People would try to seek out different options but wouldn't find them. So you have to kind of think outside the box. What would you do? Same with food. That food would become higher priced, and actually you would be priced out of it. And what are you going to do? Because everywhere it's very, very difficult now to farm. It's very difficult to have chickens. It's going to get more and more difficult. Look at what's happened to raw milk. Okay, so farmers, I think it would be a really, really good idea for farmers to be able to sublease a row, a row of crops. People can go in, they could sublease. It would help them. It would help people. And while there is still land, still property, that we help each other in this way. If a family can take a row of crops and maintain it and be responsible for it, and then reap some of that harvest, right? But also giving that money to the farmer, a little bit of a change to the farmer in order to do that, I could see that it could benefit both. We're going to have to work together to do this. We're going to have to figure out and strategize ways that are going to be beneficial in a way that we're not causing what we know is going to happen, but be prepared for it in the event that it does. And I know that's a kind of a fine line, because some people feel like previous caller, are we causing it if we start moving in this direction that they've been talking about? Just like Klaus Schwab was talking about rental, everything's rented in the future. Maybe, but I always think it's good to prepare for that, if that were the case too. And if you could get your family in a situation where they had access to food, no matter what happens at the grocery store, shortages, trucks, things like that, then wouldn't you be in a pretty good position? Yes, you probably would be. So we have to think outside the box there. And we're really going to have to come up with some ingenious ways to help ourselves within community. Like I always say on the show, the people are the only answer to this. It's not political. You'll never find your answer in politics. It's too scumbaggery. You're just not going to find it. These are going to be your answers on how to get through what's coming. And you can get through it. You'll still have joy. You'll still have those things. Be right back. Kate Daly Show.
Thanks for listening to The Kate Daly Show. All opinions expressed by the program participants on The Kate